Well, hello there to this channel, to me, Simon, to this garden, and it's absolutely awful, filthy weather. And in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to overwinter the glory lily. Come on in then, we're going to show you what ours is doing at the moment. If you can, cast your mind back a couple of months and see if you can remember what the glory lily looked like. At least what our glory lily looked like, with its lovely blooms, exotic red. Looks like the plant is on fire. And in particular, do you remember just how dark green and luscious the foliage was? Well, let's take a look at it now. So you can see that the flowers are all finished, although I have seen one plant somewhere that did have one last sad looking flower still on it, and it's nearly November anyway. But it's not really the flowers that I'm worried about, it's the foliage. And like I say, beforehand this foliage was a lovely dark green color, and now the colder temperatures, the shorter day lengths, these have triggered the plant to start absorbing all of the nutrition, the starches, the sugars, all the good stuff that's in the leaf here is now being transported back down the stems and into these tuberous root systems here. Now the problem with the glory lily is that it is not hardy, and as such, if you want to have your plants growing again next year, I need to lift the roots, I need to bring them indoors to store them somewhere in the warm and the dry. But before I can do that, I need to allow the plant to finish absorbing all its nutrition back into the root system. But what I don't want to happen, I don't want these roots wet, and I don't want them to bump into some freezing conditions while they're still wet, because what will happen is that the skin of the roots underneath that will get damaged, and that opens those roots up to infections. So what I'm going to do is this. If you've got space in your greenhouse, and the whole lot can be picked up and put in there, and that means it's protected from the rain and it still be a little bit warmer in the greenhouse. But unfortunately for us, we don't have any room in our greenhouse. Bigger greenhouse required. So what I'm going to do is employ that old plantsman trick of turning the pot on its side. Let's try and do this one-handed. There you go, that's not bad, is it? Now I appreciate that it does look a bit rough and ready, and that it doesn't look ideal, but what that does now is that enables the plant to stay outside, stay in the wind, stay in the warmth, and allow all that foliage to dry back into the tubers without the water still dropping on top of that plant pot and keeping it soaking wet. Because at the moment we have had 2 weeks so far of rain, and we've got like at least another week's forecast of rain to come, for crying out loud. So for now I'm just going to leave that where it is, but I do need to keep one eye on the weather. I don't want any frost on it, and I certainly don't want any freezing temperatures getting to those tubers, because they will then be damaged irrecoverably. They could be badly damaged. So for now we'll leave it there, and all the time that all the nutrients are going back into the tubers, then that's fine. And as soon as all the leaves are sort of brown and finished, then I can take them out. So for the moment I'm just going to leave it. But like I say, if there are frost or freezing temperatures, I'm going to bring it into the garage. 2 weeks later. Okay, so today is the day. We have had almost a touch of frost yesterday, so the time has come to deal with your glory lily. So before we start to take it all back, I'm going to take off the seeds. And once I've got all these off, I'm going to dry them off indoors.
This looks really good, this glory lily, isn't it? So,
It has done a really good job.
This
is a lot more than what I was thinking of it.
It really looked great when it was out in flower.
It's
fabulous.
One of my favourite plants because it's so easy to grow. I mean, we had no problems with pests and disease. Occasionally you might get scarlet lily beetle on it, but we haven't had any problems with it. It really just grows. You don't need to really put much effort into it other than keeping it quite wet during the growing period, but other than that it's fantastic. It just grows flowers, looks amazing.
It looks really exotic, doesn't it?
It does.
I think it looks like
it's ivy.
Yeah, like an exotic orchid. It looks amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we can do with the seeds then.
We're going to put them indoors, put them on a windowsill, allow those to dry off because they're still green. And once they sort of open up, I'll take the seeds out, keep those dry ready for the spring. You know, just in case I need some. You never know. Right.
Okay.
Anyway, so first of all, we'll remove all this foliage.
Okay. Okay.
Now, you could argue that you should leave the foliage on until it completely dries up and absorbs all the nutrition back into the tubers, but the problem is if you wait for that time period to happen, you probably would have had a couple of frosts. If you've got some frost, you're going to damage the tubers. So there's a fine line between waiting for as much of the nutrition to be absorbed out of the leaves and stems to that risk of tubers being damaged. So it is kind of about now. So we're looking at middle of November. But for you, just need to keep an eye on the overnight forecast. As soon as you start looking at temperatures around 4 degrees or lower, then there is the risk of the frost at that point. Okay, so you know, if you're growing potatoes in a big bucket, which I think is quite a popular thing to do, and you can get a good crop out of it, well, this is a little bit like that. We've been growing these tubers all year, and now we're going to find out just how many tubers we have. Now, hopefully we have a few more than last year, or at least much bigger ones. So
Okay.
here we go.
Let's see.
Let's find out.
What is none?
Ooh.
Bad.
Don't want to snap or break anything. Be quiet.
No.
Doesn't want to pull apart much.
Get a bit welly.
Yeah, so you usually got this typical. So this is like the last year's old one, shriveled up. Then this is the new one. We're going to leave everything intact.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see that. I mean, it's
Great.
not really up there. I could probably just take that off. But there you go. So this typical V shape is what you'd expect to get.
Yeah. Amazing.
So, that one. Cool V shape.
So are you lifting them? You're lifting to dry them?
Yeah, I'm gonna wash them, dry them. I'm gonna put them indoors somewhere in the dark, in the dry. I don't want them getting wet at all.
So you couldn't leave them in the pot and
No, because you'll get to.
you think they're rot?
They'll need to dry off over the winter because they won't do the cold and the wet like many things. But also it's a South American plant, so it is a tropical plant. They won't take the frost.
No.
The tubers just get damaged.
They just look a bit like dahlia tubers in a way, I suppose, but dahlia's a bit tougher.
Which is a characteristic of many South American plants. The soil is not very giving.
Another one.
Doing well.
Yeah, pretty great. Hey.
Of course.
So give it some oil for that.
Done well, actually.
Yeah. There's quite a lot in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So next year will you put it in 2 pots?
I suppose I could.
It's,
You know,
it's
what,
probably
2
enough
displays.
for, it just seems too many now.
Yeah.
They've doubled
I
in
could split
size,
them,
so you can split them and put them in another pot.
do 2 displays, why not?
Yeah, let's do that. Sounds lovely. That was a big one. That. Wow.
Right, I'll sort that in a minute. So
Yeah, those.
these will all go in here,
Yeah.
and because it's got holes in the base, it's
You're
a
gonna
regular
give it a
pot,
wash,
I can
yeah.
wash it.
Okay. And put it in the bath with you.
Right, follow me. Okay, Now they've been cleaned off, they need to be put somewhere to dry. You can't really leave them outside in our English gloom. They need to put somewhere dry and warm, maybe like a garage or in the kitchen somewhere. As long as they're out of the way, don't kick them over. Anyway, once they've dried off, then we do this. Put it in a kitchen drawer and forget about it for 6 months. And there you have it, Glory Lily tubers packed away for the duration, and we probably won't even think of those until the spring, but they can't go out until the threat of late frost has passed. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you have any comments or anything you'd like to say, then please do so. Put those in the comments. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.